Hi, this is Timothy Schutte with Exit Realty Capital City and the Timothy Schutte Real Estate Team. Welcome back to our video blog. We have JC Diaz with American Pacific Home Mortgage again with us, and we are talking about assumable mortgages. JC, what is that?
Well, Tim, thanks again for having me on. Assumable mortgages. This is another topic that's being discussed today, mainly due because of the high interest rate environment. But really what it means is somebody taking advantage of a lower interest rate that somebody might have. In this case, the seller. It's a good tool. It's a good option to have on the table because, as we mentioned, interest rates today are much greater than even last year.
Last year this time,
2-3 years ago.
I got a 3% last year.
Yeah, and so one of the ways to be able to secure a home is through assumable mortgages. And so all it really takes is a buyer to qualify through the lender, and take over the terms of the seller.
Do they have
particular mortgage?
Do they have to go through the same lender as that has the mortgage?
They have to go through. They have to go through the agencies.
The agencies, okay.
So, for example, if it's an FHA, you go through the FHA through HUD. If it's a conventional, you go through Fannie or Freddie.
Okay.
If it's a VA loan, you go through VA. But the main thing is that the buyer qualifies.
That the buyer qualifies.
And so for that, you go through the normal mortgage qualification. But it does allow you to take advantage of the low interest rates that seller took advantage of 2-3 years ago.
So VA and FHA, those are all assumable, correct?
Correct.
Would your conventionals, how many of those would you assume to be assumable? Is that something that piece by piece?
So there is not a paper that says that they are assumable. However, you can always reach out to the agency to see if they'd be willing to let you take over the mortgage.
So today's rates are 7s.
They're in the 7s.
And so a year ago there were 3s.
Or below.
Or below.
Yeah.
So like last video we talked about a buy down to get closer to 3 from 7. But if you could get somebody with an assumable at 3, where does that lead? That payment's way lower again.
In terms of payments, the rule of thumb is $1,000 for every. $15 to $30 for every 1,000. Okay. So that's the method we like to use. It would depend on what the rate, what the rate and what the actual price of the house or the mortgage in this case. Because again, this is all about taking over that mortgage. In other words, at the lower interest rate rather than going through a conventional mortgage at this point.
So if you looked at it, let's say that there's a house with a sale price of $400,000, the mortgage is $300,000. How does that difference work? What do you recommend or see for that difference in there to make up for the equity in the sale price? Is that going to a small bank for a home equity? Is that something you can get a second mortgage on?
You can always do a second mortgage at different terms because those are different rates. Those rates are not tied to the mortgage-backed securities, which is what our first mortgages are based on. So you can always use that equity. Again, the importance here is to take over that mortgage at the lower rate to be able to secure the home.
Cool. Anything else to add to that?
Unless you have more questions for me.
I think the big thing is to find those opportunities, and I've seen a few in the MLS listed that way. We have one of our own listings that is an FHA loan that is listed that way. It may not always be in the public remarks, more than likely in the agent remarks, so something to ask your agent. But if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to us here at Exit Realty Capital City. Happy to help. JC, thank you for coming again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And this is Timothy Schutte. Have a great day.